Namaskar everyone, Jai Hind and welcome back to Gyanonymous School. Welcome to part 4 of UGC NET Criminology lecture series 3 on social learning theories. We will discuss now about theories of imitation, differential association theory, differential identification theory and differential opportunity theory. In previous lecture, we explored various theories like biological theories, psychological theories of crime. We discussed about strain theories, about ecological theories of crime, also environmental criminology. However, now we are going to examine some of the most influential ideas of modern criminology. We will try to answer questions like whether a criminal is born or whether a criminal is made. So let's say if a child grows up in a neighborhood where everyone obeys the law, where values are treated well or regarded well, so what type of learning that the child will get from the childhood. On the other hand, imagine in another neighborhood and a child grows up surrounded by various gangs, by drug traffickers. That surrounding is all around with violence and with the breaking of laws, and there are role models which are criminal in that society. So both the two children actually develop, what do you think, will they develop same attitude towards crime or towards law? Will they develop the same attitude, law obeying attitude or law breaking attitude? I think probably not. Someone may develop a more law-abiding attitude, and in general case, and in another child, he or she will develop a more law disobeying attitude or law breaking attitude. So such observation actually give rise to theories like social learning theories, which actually argues that criminal behavior is learned through interaction with other people, just like any other language, maybe just like cultural values, just like other social phenomenons, maybe just like other skills like driving or computer skills or some kind of other skills which someone learns, but that in such a way criminal behavior is also learned. So today's lecture, we will discuss some theories like theories of imitation, differential association theory, differential identification theory, and differential opportunities theory. So before going into the core of the lecture, let me remind you to please switch on to 1.5x for your better experience. Let's begin. So what are the social learning theories? Actually, unlike various other biological theories that actually focused on heredity, or maybe on psychological theories that focused on personality, on the other hand, social learning theories actually they argue that people learn behavior through some kind of interaction, through observation, or maybe through communication and experience. So here in social learning theories of crime is not viewed as an instinct. It actually viewed as a learning behavior. Just we simply learn to speak or learn to ride or even ride a bicycle. In a similar way, people also learn various criminal attitudes and techniques from others, from peers, from seniors, or from acquaintances. So this builds to the theory of imitation. So theory of imitation is one of the earliest proponent of social learning theory. Actually, Gabriel Tarde, he propounded a theory of imitation, where he actually argued that people learn behavior by imitating others. According to Tarde, society actually functions through imitation. Like he observed that children imitate parents, students actually imitate teachers, or even junior employees imitate senior colleagues, or even we imitate someone whom we like in the society. We do have also our role models. So criminals also in that the same way they imitate other successful offenders or so-called successful offenders. So Gabriel Tarde came up with 3 laws of imitation in criminology. That is a law of close contact, law of imitation of superiors, and law of insertion. So first, what is law of close contact? Here, like intimate people with whom we have frequent interaction, like the close contacts. Okay, here we deal with the intimate people who have frequent contact or frequent interactions, like our parents, like friends, maybe siblings, neighbors, even peer groups at work or in college or in university or even in schools. So these peer groups or these close contacts influence us, and we try to imitate them in one way or another. Even criminal behaviors also imitate. If our peers, our friends, parents, or neighborhood, whom we are very close relations, we are with very close relation with whom, if they are in delinquent way, if they are into crime, so we also tend to be crime. The criminal activities also be normalized with us. The violence, criminal activities, or such activities will be normalized into our day-to-day life if our close contacts also deal with such criminals, or they go into such way, then we will be like them too. That is the first law, or the law of close contact. Next, law of imitation of superiors. Here people often imitate individuals whom actually they admire or perceive as successful, superior. Maybe like role models or celebrities. Even in today's social media, as the influencers, or even gang leaders, or maybe community leaders. So people actually imitate them. If influencers or leaders, or community leaders, even celebrities, if they are in a criminal way, in a delinquent way, then if we follow them, we may tend to go to that way too. So this is a law of imitation of superiors. Next, coming to the third law, that is law of insertion. What is law of insertion? Here new ideas replace the old behavior, like as societies actually sense, individuals adopt new patterns of behavior. Like for example, before it was like traditional embezzlement of funds, or traditional financial crimes, but now it is actually replaced by cyber fraud, or other type of cyber crimes. So traditional financial crimes are actually being replaced by new age cyber frauds. So new ideas like cyber frauds or social engineering, etc., they are actually replacing the old criminal ideas. Okay, so this is the law of insertion, when new ideas are inserted as society senses, and old patterns are slowly and steadily disappearing, while new ideas are taking over or being replaced. So this is law of insertion. So what's the relevance of these all laws of imitation in modern relevance? In social medias, is actually the law of imitation, or this is actually amplifying instead, because like criminal challenges, online scams, or extremist propaganda and deep fake fraud, these all demonstrate how imitation can spread very fast through digital platforms. Indoctrination, fundamentalism, and online radicalization, etc., also are spreading in a much easier way through online, or through this digital influencing. Okay, so this theory of law of imitation particularly is very relevant in the today's digital age. even though it is coming with certain criticisms, like this theory or law of imitation or theory of imitation actually explains how behavior spreads, but it actually doesn't deal with the question like why certain people choose to imitate criminal behavior but others do not. Like there are indoctrinating material, there are radicalization material available in the internet where everyone with a good knowledge of computer maybe can access them. But why not all the people are going there? Just certain people are going towards radicalization or towards such activities. So this is a huge criticism for for this theory of imitation. However, theory of imitation is of really great modern relevance, and it is important from the point of view of indoctrination, fundamentalism, and even online radicalization. So this is what theory of imitation is in modern criminology. Coming to our king of criminology, our main menu actually of criminology, that is differential association theory by Edwin H. Sutherland. This is our actually main menu of criminology. Okay, so we have already discussed this differential association theory in the other video. We have made a concept video about differential association theory. You can go through it. If you have any questions regarding this theory of differential associations, please do ask me again and again. Anyway, I am going to explain it again. Edwin Sutherland actually he transformed criminology with this most influential theory. He actually argued that criminal behavior is learned through interaction with other people or association with other people. He argued that people are not born criminals. He argued that criminals are not born. Lombroso, he focused on born criminal, but Edwin Sutherland, he said that people are actually not born criminals. They become criminals through social interactions. His core principles were like criminal behavior is learned through communication within very intimate personal groups, and along with motives, techniques, and attitudes, the criminal behavior is learned. It is learned through association. So individuals actually learned the definitions favorable to law violation, and they also learn what are definitions unfavorable to law violations. That is, in simple words, individuals learn how to commit crime, the methodology to commit crime, the methodology to break the law, and the methodology to obey the law. That's simply. So when the favorable definitions override the unfavorable ones, offending becomes more likely, simply. There are 9 propositions by Edwin Sutherland by his differential association theory. That is, first is criminal behavior is learned, that we already know. Then it is learned through interaction with others, and learning occurs mainly in close personal groups. Edwin Sutherland actually focused on closed personal groups in his differential association theory. Next, he said that people learn both techniques and motives, like they learn other skills. In differential association theory, it is stressed that attitude towards law matters. Okay, everyone is not having the same attitude towards law. Everyone may not have the law breaking or even law abiding attitude. So he next said that association vary in frequency, associations also vary in duration, priority, and intensity. Some people may even get associated with such gangs or such criminal people, but in a less frequency. But someone may the whole day they can be involved with them. Someone may be with them for months, for years, and someone can just be with them for few hours and just give up with them. So that's it. Next, he said learning criminal behavior follows the same process as learning any other behavior, or learning like any other skills or language. Lastly, he said that general needs such as need for money or need for status, they do not themselves explain crime, because lawful behavior can pursue the same goal. Lastly, actually, Sutherland, he argued that whatever the basic goal of a person, like we need money or we need our basic necessity or maybe status, so this need of certain stuffs in a life, this need actually doesn't explain that we would go to an delinquent or violent way, or we would go in a deviant way. No. Most people go to lawful way, or they obey lawful behavior, they go through lawful behavior to achieve the same goal. So these needs of human being do not define crime, they do not explain crime. Let's say another example, or maybe two college students, one who spends most of his time with hardworking classmates preparing for competitive examination, the another one who spends time with kind of gang members, with group engaged in recreating activities or drug use or maybe even online fraud. So both are actually learning, but from different social environments. One is learning to work hard, to prepare hard for competitive examination. Another is learning how to use drug and online fraud. So their association and their influence, as well as their priority, also their belief, shape their behavior in their future actions. So Edwin Sutherland's theory actually contributed. It even explained white collar crime. It shifted the attention of criminology from biology to social interaction, because this theory is one of the biggest theory in criminology and one of the most influential theory in criminology. It actually inspired later learning theories of criminology too. However, as many other theories, this is also goes with various criticism, like the definitions, the favorable or unfavorable definition towards crime. These are actually difficult to measure. The terms Sutherland mentioned definitions, the concept of definition he mentioned, it's very difficult to measure. And it doesn't actually fully explain various spontaneous crimes, like sudden crimes, impulsive crime, or spontaneous crime. Sutherland's differential association theory, it doesn't explain that. Well, some other things like individual choice or individual preferences and biological traits, this theory actually underestimates such choice and such traits. So differential association theory, even though successful, it is with various criticisms. So this is what differential association theory of Edwin Sutherland. Coming to another theory, these differential theories are very confusing. Okay, we gone with differential association theory. Now we are moving to differential identification theory. The previous one was that is differential association theory. This time it is DIT, that is differential identification theory. It was propounded by Daniel Glaser. Glaser actually modified the that theory of Sutherland. He argued that actual association is not always necessary. The theory actually says that the actual association in the that theory is not so much necessary in real life. A person may identify with someone who he or she may have never met. This is very important. The main idea of this theory, that is individual who imitate those whom may they psychologically identify, even whom they never met in life. This is very important in today's world of indoctrination and online radicalization. This is very important. This differential identification theory or the theory of Daniel Glasner is very important, and this is developed from that theory. So this can be like some role models or film characters, some of the social media influencers, fictional heroes or fictional villains, even maybe extreme leaders online that I have mentioned, that extremist ideas people copy from even other countries, the radicalization thing that's happening online, celebrity gangsters who portrayed in popular culture. So people go with such characters or such role models, uh, in Bollywood in India we see various movies, like like let's say even we see some of the policemen copying the single Singham style. Singham has been a very much successful movie, but many of policemen actually try to imitate the Singham model of policing even in their dressing. So sometimes it leads to the code of conduct of police officers too. Similarly, there was one very famous movie, that is Pushpa, where one uh, he, wood trafficker was actually he became hero of this movie. He was the hero of the movie, and many people try to imitate him and try to do stuffs like him, even though he was, or in that movie actually he is a criminal. And despite that, there is so heroism in that movie, and the movie is so appealing that people try to copy Puspa. And like many other characters out there, there are some social media influencers who actually influence people through their behavior, their acts, and the way they speak. And these social media generations and social media is very very, like, how can I say, I was watching very much videos and analyzing very much thing in social media, the CJP protest or Cockroach Janata Party protest. I have found this generation who goes on Instagram and other very short form of videos. Even now, our prime minister and other leaders are also shifting towards social media. I must say one thing, that this generation, they regard information as knowledge. There is a very difference between information and knowledge. Today, the social media is flooded with information. Everyone is passing on information with that, with the social media. Even if you upload some video, it may have zero knowledge, zero content, but it's information, but it can actually influence someone. So people mistakenly take information as their knowledge. So this actually leads to conflict of interest inside them, and it leads to over information or TM, I or too much information, and makes the space of knowledge less. People have less space to grab more knowledge in their brain, because they are constantly bombarded with information, this information, that information. The brain is constantly bombarded with very much of reels, pictures, and informations from social media, and there is no space for knowledge to get and get placed through memories, because all the informations are running all, and anytime you go through the phone, iPad, or computer, you will have reels and reels and reels, tons of information. So people actually of today's generations are misled by information, and most of them mistake information with knowledge. Knowledge is something different. You cannot get it all through all the reels, even though some reels also come up with some knowledges, but most of the reels or most of the 30 seconds video, they are just information. You can just treat them as news report or a newspaper news. They are not a book. Like, this is my lecture, okay, people would not be interested in this lecture because I didn't make them in a way, I didn't make them appealing. I am explaining theories like this, that and DIT, that is differential association theory and differential identification theory. People are not interested here. I can see just one people is watching me online, but instead if I would have made a reel, there may be hundreds of people watching that. But now I am giving more knowledge through this video. Despite I am giving more knowledge, people are not interested in knowledge. What people are interested, they are interested in much more information. In real, one after another, if some information is not interesting for a particular person, he will go to another information. But here, if you are watching, you have to be patient, because no, to gain knowledge, you need to be patient, man. So this generation, I don't know, I am not saying them good or bad, but they are more into information, or they are bombarded with information than retaining more knowledge. So anyway, this leads to this all, I have said these all things out of syllabus, but this is related to social media influencing and TMA, that is TMI, that is too much information, and which leads to following various social media role models, or fictional characters, or even film characters whom people have never met. And differential identification theory of Daniel Glazer actually said that, and this differential identification theory of criminology is very much to deal with criminology in today's online space. So that's it. The contribution of differential identification theory, actually it is relevant in digital era, where identification often occurs through media rather than face-to-face interactions. Okay, so despite this all, like any other theory, it is also with various criticisms, like identification does not always result in criminal behavior. Some people may follow such contents or follow such people, but they may not actually translate them into criminal behavior. Many people who admires fictional villains, but they cannot engage in crime, or they may not engage in such crimes. So these are the criticisms, simple criticisms, but let me tell you one thing again, that differential association theory is very important one of Edwin Sutherland, but Daniel Glazer's differential identification theory, which is developed from differential association theory, is more important in today's social media age. Let's move towards another menu. Today we have very much beautiful, or very delicious dishes of criminology. Okay, now another, that is dot theory, differential opportunity theory, dot theory. It was propounded by Cloward and Orlin, that is Richard Cloward and Lloyd Orlin. They actually, it differential opportunity theory, or dot theory, it came from Merton's strain theory. We have studied about Merton's strain theory, so dot theory actually come from Merton's strain theory, where actually Merton explained why people experience strain. From that, in that theory, actually Cloward and Orlin, they ask question like, even if people experience strain, do they all have equal opportunities to commit crime? Yes. Cloward and Orlin, they agreed with Merton's strain theory, where Merton focused on strain, that certain conditions may create strain, but whether strain leads to unequal opportunities which leading to crime, whether all people go towards crime because of strain, Cloward and Orlin tried to find this theory, find this answer, and propounded the differential opportunity theory, and they found the answer is no. Just like legitimate opportunities are not equally distributed, everyone is not legitimately getting all kind of opportunities. like good opportunities are not there, not equally distributed. Illegitimate or bad opportunities are also not equally distributed. So everyone is not having the access to crime. Not everyone having access to organized crime networks. Not everyone having access to robbery, theft, or burglary networks. So here they have gone with three different type of delinquent subcultures, that is criminal subculture, conflict subculture, and retreatist subcultures. In criminal subculture, it is actually found in very organized crime society where criminals already exist. There are existing criminals, like where young offenders learn how to do crime, how to make profitable business from criminal activities from experienced offenders. So this is subculture, or this is simple criminal gang. On the other hand, there are other subcultures, or second delinquent subculture, that is conflict subculture. What is conflict subculture? It is conflict subculture actually found in unstable communities. They lack in organized criminal structure. Like criminal subculture, conflict subculture is not so organized. They become very violent. They want to gain respect and status. They want to gain such respect and status that like of criminal subculture, but they cannot achieve it because of a lack of such illegitimate opportunities. But they just try, okay, so they try to go with such violent ways to achieve criminal subculture, but they remain in the conflict subculture. This is the two subcultures. One is criminal subculture, where there are already criminals and people learn from such criminals. Next is conflict subcultures, where people try to go or try to imitate the criminal subculture with the way of violence or breaking of law, but they are unable to achieve the criminal subculture. The third type of subculture is retreatist subculture. What is this? This is simply, you will find it very interesting, okay? Here is in the third subculture, where people fail in both the previous two. Like they even cannot be fully a member, or they cannot go into the criminal subculture. They are not regarded good, or they are not fit for criminal subcultures, and even they fail in conflict subculture also. So what they do, people who fail in both legitimate and illegitimate systems, who also both fail in criminal subculture and conflict subcultures, they actually withdraw from society and go into drug abuse, maybe alcoholism, and other form of escape from the society. So they become retreatist. So retreatist subculture is a kind of subculture we can see that where people both fail in criminal subculture. People cannot be criminal. People fail to become a good criminal. I use the term good criminal or maybe successful criminal. So where people fail to be a successful criminal, or where people failing to be in a conflict subculture. In these two type of subcultures where people fails, they come to the third subculture, that is retreatist subcultures, and they take the resort of drug, alcohol, or other type of retreated activities. Okay, so how this subculture contributes to criminology? Combining strain theory and learning perspective, this actually explain why crime varies across neighborhood through various subcultures. It highlighted the importance of opportunity and structures. So, like many other theories, it is with various criticisms, like not everyone deprived of neighborhood developments, they become or they go into criminal subcultures. No, even there are some situations like everyone who is a retreatist, he is not a criminal. People can be, can become retreatist. People can drink, they can even abuse, they can also go with drug abuse. But if they don't harm anyone, they're just harming themselves, not anyone. So they are not becoming criminals. There can be ignorance of personality difference in this theory, and this is also less applicable to some forms of cybercrime. So therefore, despite so much criticism, differential opportunity theory, this also stands good. This theory is by Cloward and Orlin. You remember that, okay? So we have actually learned very much important theories or very much good dishes of criminology today. Like we have learned theory of imitation by Gabriel Trade, where it is said that crime is learned by imitating others. We have learned 3 laws of imitation. Then the debt theory or differential association theory by Edwin Sutherland, where it is said that criminal behavior is learned through interaction and communication. Another theory is deed theory, that is differential identification theory by Daniel Glazer, where it is said that individuals imitate people even though they do not practically meet them, or they do not meet them practically, don't see them face to face. So they identify with their role models. That is what? Deed theory by Daniel Glazer. Lastly, we have learned about dot theory, that is differential opportunity theory by Cloward and Ochlin. It says that crime depends on access to illegitimate opportunities as well as legitimate ones. So these actually 3 theories are very much confusing. That theory, deed theory, and dot theory. That theory is by Edwin Sutherland, deed theory is by Daniel Glazer, and dot theory is by Cloward and Orlin. If you want, I can share you with various notes of criminologies. Please let me know if you want to. If you want the notes of criminology, I can create some group in WhatsApp or in Telegram, and we can share our lecture notes there. So this is what our today's lecture is. If we go from an UGC NET examination point of view, something we need to remember, like who is associated with what theory. That is Gabriel Trade, he is associated with theory of imitation. Edwin Sutherland associated with that theory, that is differential association theory. Daniel Glazer with deed theory, that is differential identification theory. Cloward and Orlin is with dot theory, that is differential opportunity theory. So we can remember with some sequence like imitation, association, identification, opportunity, like IA, IO. If you remember like this, IA, IO, IA, IO, imitation, association, identification, opportunity, IA, IO. So this sequence also shows how criminological thoughts actually evolved from a simple imitation theory to various complex phenomena like online radicalizations, or where differential identification theory explains that, and other structural opportunities with differential opportunity theory which they express. So there may be questions for UGC NET, like who proposed the theory of imitation. I will not answer, please answer yourself. There can be questions like differential association theory was developed by whom. Similarly, differential identification theory emphasizes on what. There can be like differential opportunity theory was proposed by whom, etc. So today's lecture, as we're coming to the end of it, we have found that today's lecture actually highlighted various fundamental insight of modern criminology. We learned that crime actually can be learned, or criminal behavior can be learned like any other skills or any other language. We have learned from Gabriel Train, who emphasized on imitation, to Sutherland's theory of differential association, and Glasner's concept of identification, and Cloward and Orlin's focus on unequal opportunities through differential opportunity theory. So these theories actually remain highly relevant in 21st century, particularly in the age of social media and online communities, and also digital influences, where ideas and behavior can spread across physical and virtual networks very instantly. So theories like differential identification theory is very important, and all the that did and dot theory is very important in criminological point of view. So in our next lecture, we will continue our journey through criminological thoughts by exploring the remaining theories of criminology. Also in the syllabus, we will go with the unit 4 of syllabus, and this is where we end this flagship lecture, that is lecture 3. We had divided it into 4 parts, and this is the part 4, and we come to the end of it. Before ending, let me ask you one question. Please answer in the comment box. Who is the author of the book The Criminal Man? Who wrote the book The Criminal Man? So please answer me in the comment box, and that's all. I would like to request our viewers kindly watch the videos on 1.5x for your better experience. And if you find today's lecture useful, please like the video and subscribe to Gyanonymous School and share it to your fellow UGC NET Criminology aspirants, also whoever want to be a criminologist, or whoever interested in criminology. Thank you for joining today's live class, and then see you in the next lecture. Jai Hind, Bande Mataram.